Call the roll.
Hanson.
Here.
Gillespie. Here. Mallon.
Here.
Hicks.
Here.
Pickup. Nystrom.
Here.
Ray.
Here. Okay, number 2, approval of agenda.
Are there any changes?
I do have one change, and I need to add, we'll put it under number 8, mayor's comments, but B, will be TikTok alcohol license renewal.
Other changes? I move for the approval.
Second. Call the roll.
Gillespie. Yes. Mallon.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Nystrom.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes. Okay, number 3, presentation petitions, public communication. A, request for approval to proceed with issuing the RFP document for the water environment plant, static control upgrade project, and receiving responses to consideration award at the October 1, 2012 meeting. Barry?
Yes. I have a couple handouts for everyone who goes up here. What this involves is issuing the RFP or request for proposals document to invite system integrators to present proposals for upgrading the control system at the water environment facility. And what I just handed to you is some revised documents actually from what you have in your council packet. After discussions with some of the controls integrators that are interested in this type of work, as well as our sub-consultant that is helping us put the plans and specs together, and Dave and Roy down at the plant, we're actually extending things back 2 weeks, so setting up so that the actual award of the firm that we would enter into contract with to do this work would be 2 weeks later on the October 15th meeting instead of October 1st. So basically what you have here is a revised notice of request for proposal, the very first page that would actually go into the newspaper. Beth already has that, so she's ready to go with that tomorrow if everything is approved this evening. And then the second part of this is the actual request for proposals, which is a part of that really long document that you have in your packet, the plans and specs and so forth, which calls out the actual schedule of activities that we will proceed with if approved tonight. I can go through that schedule if you like, and just explain what we're going to be doing as we move forward here. Get that page here. An actual anticipated schedule is summarized on page 3 of the request for proposals. What we propose to do is, after this evening, issue the RFP this week or towards the end of this week, along with the notice in the newspaper, and then have a mandatory pre-proposal meeting to have invited firms come in and actually walk through the plant to look at the control system to make sure that we know that they understand what the project is, rather than just coming off the street and submitting proposals without actually looking at the plant. We feel it's very important for them to actually set feet at the plant and see what they're actually up against there. And then we will have a deadline for them to ask questions in writing of us on September 12th, and we will then return 2 days later and give our responses to them as the official update to the RFP document. Proposals from them will be due on September 21st here at the City Hall. And then something kind of unique about this way of doing this is we're going to actually hold interviews with one or more of these firms that we feel are some people we want to talk further with about this project, and to get kind of a first-hand knowledge of the folks that will be actually doing the work, as well as to give them a chance to present their qualifications in person to us. And that again will allow us, the folks at the treatment plant, Wayne and others to get a better feel for the firms that we're actually getting these proposals from. And then finally, we would have a recommendation of award of contract to the selected firm at your October 15th meeting. So basically in a little over a month, we hope to have all the proposals in for the work, and then have a recommendation back to you. The very last part of this handout is an actual updated cost estimate. And what we've done on this is split out what we think should be as part of the base proposal, part of the project, the absolutely necessary things we need down there, and then at the very right-hand column are items that we feel are nice to have, but may not be necessary to operate the plant at this point in time. We're gonna ask for those nice-to-haves as a bid alternate, basically, so that we get the prices. Should things fall in line, we can actually budget those in. And right now, we're looking at a project total of $314,000 for this project. The original, I think the original budget a couple years back was about $350,000, which included engineering on this. So we're hoping that this budget is actually conservative and things will come in below this, which generally they have in the past on a lot of these projects. So we've added a little bit of contingency in with this, so to give us some budgeting room, I guess. Any questions on this? I know this is kind of the first time you've seen some of this stuff. Any questions about the actual project itself and the needs for it?
Once we award the contract, I should say, what's the time frame that you expect the work to be completed? How long is that?
Well, it'll take a little while for them to actually fabricate things in their shop, get the equipment ordered and so forth. My guess is it'll probably gonna take 2 months for that to occur. And then they will schedule the actual installation of the new control equipment down at the plant, so maybe another 2 months from there. This is probably gonna take in a range of 6 to 8 months to get final completion on, because once it's installed, there's some training time, there's some programming time that they have to complete at the plant itself, make sure everything is up and running correctly. Also built into this is gonna be some training and then some maintenance hours for them to come back and again and make sure everything is working correctly and satisfactory to the plant managers down there. So.
When this takes place and our plant isn't down, they can still operate while this is going on?
Yeah, that's part of the scheduling activities, is to make sure that they get everything built. We're actually gonna go to their factory and make sure it's running according to what we want to run correctly. And then from there, they'll actually set up a time to schedule the integration at the plant. They will basically put the new stuff in right side by side with the old stuff, and then they will cut that in as time allows during low times.
Are there a lot of companies that do this?
Not very many, actually.
So you're
There's
expecting how many bids?
well, our
Or handle it?
sub-consultant, he's kind of put it in writing to me that he expects 6. And I actually asked him to have that in writing because it's kind of a bet between us and see how we get. I'm thinking probably 4 or 5 we will get as far as responders on this. Automatic systems is one. Automatic systems is out of Ames. They do the work right now for the plant. Jetco was out of Altoona. They also do this kind of thing. And there's 2 Minnesota firms also that have done a lot of work in Iowa. So those are the main 4 that we'll probably see proposals from. There could be others that are interested even from further out.
I just wanted to know.
There's really only two firms in town, or excuse me, in the state of Iowa that are that we've seen do this kind of work in this area.
All questions? And you need a motion to proceed.
So moved.
Second. Call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Nystrom,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Gillespie.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we do item B, I'll turn it over to Chief Scare. He has an introduction to make.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to introduce you, some of you that don't know, Mike Salati, the new community service officer, has started today. Mike, you can stand. Wanted to put a name with a face. So you can
We
see.
saw him out doing something today at the high school.
We put him to work right away.
Give it to one of us and the other one is
I'll make it up. Hicks,
Yes.
Nystrom.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Lexi.
Yes.
Mallon.
Yes. Okay, number 4, report of standing committees, policy administration, for this evening. Sherry, do you have any? Okay. B, public safety and transportation, Stephen.
No report.
Utility committee, Gary.
Just to touch on a couple things, and I know you have the minutes of it, but, we did talk with the people from the homeless prevention shelter, and we did deny the request for waiving the fees. And the purpose behind it, as we kind of talked at the council meeting, was, we set precedents already that we weren't going to be waiving fees for anyone, no matter what the situation was, and we kind of held by that standard. The other thing is, we had a short presentation from Luke in regards to the leak protection program. It seems to be going very well. Along that same line, we're also moving along, Rhonda and Luke are working closely to try to get the option in regards to the billing and payment remittance, instead of the utility company doing it, subbing that out. So hopefully we'll have an answer in the next 30 days on that, to get some fees. That's it, thank you.
All right, thank you. Economic Development Committee, Stephen. Full report. Number 5, department report. All right, go ahead, President Higgins.
Thank you, Your Honor. On the agenda, we have a plan submitted by the Boone High School for their addition. If you recall the presentation that Superintendent Menard came up with for us. This is that plan. Staff initially had a few comments, returned to the engineering firms that worked on the plan who are here tonight, back here. And those comments have all been made. Staff has recommended approval.
I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Nystrom.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Lexi.
Yes.
Mallon.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is a request from some citizens in kind of the north and west area of the city, West 10th, State Street, out in that area. They've made a request. That property is currently zoned R2, 1 and 2 family residential, and they have made a request to rezone to ag. These properties that have made the request are primarily in-town acreages. They do have animals, and that's part of what initiated this request. We talked about making some changes to our animal ordinance, and they felt it was in their best interest anyway to just go to an ag zone to allow them to keep those animals. Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed it last Monday. They did make a recommendation to approve. All adjoining property owners within 250 feet of these properties were contacted, and there was no response from them.
Is there a limit as to how many animals they can have?
Right now, I mean, that's something we're still working on. There is that a minimum of an acre to have animals for one horse, one cow, anything like that. But we are talking about doing some changes to that animal ordinance to make some other restrictions in the residential areas.
Is there any difference in changing that, for taxation purposes from A1 to R1?
It will not affect taxation.
I had a question you said something about, what you're looking at as far as regulations would be for the residential areas. So is that what you're saying is the new rules that the city is looking to adopt would not apply if it was deemed ag?
I shouldn't say that completely, Gary. Restrictions on how much area you have to have and how many animals you have in the city limits will apply.
Before we do this, should we have that done, so we know where we're at?
Where we're at first,
Currently, everybody that has animals, they're in compliance anyway.
right, and they're grandfathered in.
Yeah. something, I know they're grandfathered in, that's good.
The only problem with the grandfathered in is if our animals die, we cannot replace them.
I don't think that's
I don't
necessarily
think so
true.
either.
And that's one of the things we're talking about in this new ordinance that we're gonna be working on, is we talked about using a special use permit to allow you
But,
to ask for permission.
but then you still have to get a permit to do that.
Right.
You're not living
And
forever.
if we have to get a permit, and we wanna sell the place, people that are buying the place, they might not wanna go through that process.
Yeah, can't we make it so once these folks that are already currently using this, that we don't change, I mean, we can't make it more difficult for them to sell the property.
Right.
We can't make it more difficult for them to continue doing what they're doing.
And that's kind of what this rezoning was doing.
How many properties are we really talking about?
Fifteen? With the other farm parcels, yeah, I think it was 15.
Planning and zoning did recommend
They did.
that we do it.
Right.
I'm kind of like Sherry, I think we should wait till you guys come up with the proposed changes or proposed rules, so that we can look at the whole thing and determine. I'm not saying that it's wrong to zone it, but before we make a decision on one thing, I think we should have the facts on everything, or see everything that we're gonna be looking at that pertains to that, and then we can make a decision on the whole thing.
I mean, I see no problem with what they want there, I just like to have it down in writing before we say
In the animal ordinance.
we go,
Yeah.
yeah.
How soon can we
And
have
it's for
that?
safe for them too.
I thought we had a discussion on
I think they were working on it, I don't think it's ever been, is that correct? We're working on getting it down.
It was my understanding they were waiting until the new, city attorney came in place before they even started to work on it again. And we don't wanna lose any sleep in that, we just want our little corner to stay the way it is.
I understand that.
Just be there.
You have to understand, we wanna do what's right too, and we understand what your requests are, and I by no means am saying that I'm against what you're doing, but if we've got 2 or 3 things that are gonna come up in regards to one issue, we wanna be able to look at all of it and understand what we're approving now is not gonna be a detriment to what he's trying, I should say, what the building inspector is trying to come up with, or what the committee is trying to work with. We just need to get all the information together, and, you know, I think you can see from the council that we're not saying, I don't think you see anybody that's opposed to it, it's just the idea, we wanna see all the information so that we can make decisions on all of it and have it all fit together. Is that a fair statement?
Did you say how long it would take? I mean,
To put it together.
yeah. Tomorrow? Let's get my microphone around here and say tomorrow.
See, here's my point, if he's got, this gentleman here's got animals, and one dies, he wants to replace it, why should he have to pay a fee to do that? I don't agree with that.
He doesn't have to.
I don't think there was a fee involved.
No.
Well, it's a special permit, he's
Yeah,
gonna pay something.
there's talk of a special permit.
Just talk of it though, they're not,
Right.
really.
And also whenever would come, in October or whatever is decided, we still have to comply by that, even if we are changed to ag. We still have to follow the rules whenever it comes.
I guess I'm trying to figure out what are we gonna lose by going ahead with this? I'm not really coming up with a question in my mind as to what.
Well, the questions have just been brought up now. No one really knows what's coming up. There's a question whether there's gonna be a fee. You think there was gonna be a fee. We didn't think there was any fee involved. I don't think we really understand what's gonna be brought to us.
The only thing that's gonna be brought to you is how many animals and how many square acres and the rules that apply. Basically now, just come and following them. They haven't been followed over the years. When we bought our property, we never knew we were grandfathered in, we just got the acreage, and that comes with the screwed up realtor we were dealing with at
should have, when you bought it, it should have been known
It should.
what it was deemed as, right?
That's why I'm just saying, if we have a whole paperwork, then you're gonna know exactly where you're at. If you wanna sell your property, then the people that are gonna buy it are going to understand where they are. So obviously you didn't understand where they were when you bought the property.
Right.
I just, you know, I think it's great, I mean, that we're doing this, that we're changing it for you. But we need to know,
And we actually-
are there fees, are there not fees? Are
And that's
there-
something I would decide, yeah, that has to be decided. And actually, Nora brought in a list for this new ordinance, being a part of the Humane Society on, in looking out for the animals, making sure they have enough money, making sure they don't have too many to take care of, that type of thing, those are things we plan on, yeah, trying to implement into that.
Think you could have it in 30 days?
So,
In the middle of next month?
yeah.
I think all of our land that we're talking about doesn't even affect the rest of the city. We all have, fields and pastures north of us, we've got the railroad south of us. And it's all along there.
All they're
And
doing is trying
when
to
we
get-
bought our property, it was like, probably 45 years ago. There wasn't anything in effect with it then. And, as I understood the last time the animal ordinance came up, it was because people wanted chickens. And that came up, I wanna say 2 years ago too, and I thought they had it settled then on chickens.
So see, if it's not written down somewhere, Sue, we have no idea what we did. So, I mean, I don't remember anything about chickens.
Well, it was in the paper, and because I would buy them,
Yeah, I remember.
guys that had chickens, what's the problem?
They voted against letting people have up to 6 chickens. I remember the council voted against that. There was a couple of us voted for it that I remember. And that, I know the discussions come up now in the new ordinance that we were discussing it pertains to livestock. Well, now we're trying to define what is livestock.
Livestock is any grazing animal that grazes in the pastures.
I know you're making a motion. I just hope that when we write this, we make it in the best interest of people that are currently there. So it doesn't change their way of life or change how they sell their property, that's all I'm saying.
And that's why, I mean, I'm glad Nora brought something to me, I want their input, so, yeah, I agree, yeah.
I guess I'm, of course, we've got a committee that, recommended approval of this, and I always kind of hate when there's planning and zoning or whatever it is, any of our committees that do the work and everything, look into this, and then they bring it to the city council, and we tell them thanks, but no thanks.
We had to put maps, give them maps and everything else showing what we were asking. We had to show maps of our property, what was around our property. We got permission from everyone around us that it would affect. And that all had to go to the planning and zoning committee before it came here.
The main thing is we're just wanting to get in compliance with what we're using our land for, and that's, we've been using it for, I have for 12 years, ag,
Ours has been over 40.
and everybody in between.
I move that we table this until we get the information back from the committee and the building department. And at that point, once we have all the information in front of us, then we can make the determination as to where we move from that point.
Second. Call the roll.
I should clarify, 30
I have a
days, or
question.
however quick they can get it to us. Is that, okay?
There's another question. So Gary, what you're asking is, cause if it gets, it's my understanding, if it gets killed tonight, we have to wait a whole year before this process again.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. All we're saying, my motion is to wait 30 days, and that's when Mr. Higgins thinks he will have his committee and have the information brought back to the council. At that point, we'll have all our information, and we'll be able to act on it at that point. That's the purpose of my motion. Nothing but a year.
Any other comments before I call the roll?
I just, in your consideration, I mean, we're going on with this for another month, but, in the midst of everybody talking, I mean, I've got 10.5 acres out there, and, we turned into a horse training facility, we've got underground water lines thousands of dollars. It has to be in livestock. That's why I bought the 10 acres for, so, just some of the consideration of what it would be affecting me and everybody else.
I think you'll find that we're gonna work very hard to make sure that, I wanna make sure nobody's affected by this. It's currently doing, okay? He's wanting to make sure, and some of the council will make sure we have all the information before we vote on it. I don't think it's gonna, I can't say I don't know, but you've heard what I've said, so I hope it works out well, and I think it will. So go ahead and call the roll.
Gray?
Yes.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Lexi?
Yes.
Mallon?
Yes.
Hicks? Nystrom?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the next item we have is in the Bryan addition, there was an alley, south alley running through that property where the old Bryan school was, and that was new subdivision. They vacated 222 feet of the north end of that alley in 1953 that was never deeded. So what, kind of a two-step process, what we did is we took the P&Z to vacate the remainder of that south end of the alley, and then come back and we will deed the entire thing to JCH Enterprises, who owns subdivision, and P&Z did recommend it.
Call the roll.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Lexi?
Yes.
Mallon?
Yes.
Hicks?
Yes.
Nystrom?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Okay, next up, library.
No
Barb.
report, Your Honor.
Okay. Finance officer Andrea.
No report.
City attorney Allen. Economic development director Beth is not with us this evening. Director of Parks and Public Works is not here. Utility superintendent Roy. All right. City engineer Wayne.
Thank you, Your Honor. As far as that northeast sewer rehab project, we just awarded at the last council meeting. We are abandoning a diagonal sewer main that cuts across one block of residential homes. When we go through and construct a new sanitary sewer along 16th and Benton Street, we will have to replumb 7 homes, on their property or inside their home to get them connected to the new sewer. That work we contracted out separate. I got quotes. I sent quote forms to 3 plumbers and received 2 back. Duncan Heating and Plumbing was the lowest one. I reviewed their quote. They're very familiar with it. If you got any questions, I'm certainly be happy to try to answer them, but otherwise I would, recommend we award this work to Duncan.
How do they build houses over the top of the sanitary sewer? I'm sorry I keep asking that, but just, I would hope we have some way of not doing that again.
Yeah, I think, probably building department's fault.
Yeah.
Ed there,
No, I just look up where my brother there. Yeah.
So,
Are there a lot of those in town?
Not me, a lot.
2 other, places I know that exist, sanitary sewer structures.
One guy that said he's got, one goes under his house, right under his basement, and connects into the one next to him.
Think we ought to take a look at that?
It doesn't, we don't allow it.
Now.
Not now.
Yeah, we've got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Lexi?
Yes.
Mallon?
yes.
Hicks?
Yes.
Nystrom?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, director of public safety, Bill Scarf.
No report, sir.
City administrator is not with us this evening. Number 6, consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that you would like to move and discuss separately? If not, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mallon?
Yes.
Hicks?
Yes.
Nystrom?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Lexi?
Yes.
Okay, number 7, ordinances. A, second consideration of ordinance 2186, amending 9202 rate for service based on property classification.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Hicks?
Yes.
Nystrom?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Lexi?
Yes.
Mallon?
Yes.
Okay, number 8, mayor's comments, just a couple things. September council meeting is moved to the 4th due to Labor Day. Everybody's okay with that? And the next one that was, we amended the agenda for, I had a call from TikTok today. They thought their alcohol license license, was due next month, it's this month, and it expires this Friday. So rather than us calling a special meeting, I thought we could approve it subject to the inspections, and they are set for Wednesday, is that correct? You know, Justin?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I know we don't ordinarily do this, we've never had a problem with TikTok though, so I'm just asking, you don't have to approve it if you don't want to, but,
They're a little short on restaurants downtown.
they called and asked, so. The problem is if we don't approve this, we won't meet until after Labor Day. And I typically don't call special meetings for one item, so we can approve it now, subject to the inspection approval and the dram shop insurance. And, but
You said something I think that's really important, because we denied one other one, but these people have never been late, they've never had an issue, is that correct?
correct, the person we denied before, that was like their third chance, so.
I move that we approve, the liquor license, as long as the inspections come out positive.
And the dram shop.
And, yes.
Call the roll.
Nystrom?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Lefty?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay, number 9, council member comments. Any comments this evening?
You did, go ahead. I just want to let the council know that, over the last few years, we had discussions, and I brought up in the past about, getting computers for our police cars, and I'd like to report to council that 2 weeks ago, the 911 council voted to purchase those computers that will be going into the police cars, and, also in the sheriff's deputies' cars, and Ogden and Haggard were also included. But this will get our officers into the 21st century. They'll have access to email in the cars. They'll be able to do traffic tickets, electronic traffic tickets, do accident reports in the cars, and also there'll be some software installed where dispatch will actually be able to see the patrol cars at in town. So it's an officer safety feature. And Chief Scare was there when we voted. But I'm just pleased that we're moving forward with this and that we're getting it purchased, and so that'll soon become a reality.
I just got a couple quick ones. The property at Levinson and Marshall, right across from the Catholic school. You know, is there, that house has anybody driven by and looked at the situation there? I mean, some of the windows are gone out, there's a camper sitting there, the door's always open, all I can say, it looks like garbage dump, and it really does, it's right across from one of our schools. This is really, it looks to me like it's a safety situation for the kids in school there.
I see people sitting out in the yard, though, I think they're living outside.
There's people, I believe there's people living there.
Well, there's people that live there
But they're always
somewhere.
outside.
It's on our radar.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Then I just had one other quick thing, and I probably shouldn't bring it up, but I'm just going to, because you know I always bring things up. Was the city compensated at all for the president's visit and the work that we did, the overtime, extra work we did?
I was asked how much that cost us for overtime.
Luke said we didn't want to know, that's what he said.
There's an expense, it's not reimbursed. There's one expense that we were reimbursed, we were asked by a private company to provide security for the sound system that Sunday night. I've prepared an invoice and sent that to the company to reimburse us. But as far as the government itself and assisting Secret Service, there is no reimbursement.
Well, I guess I have a little bit of a problem with that, and I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican, but when it's a campaign issue, and a lot of you know that they were planning on coming to the railroad to put this on, and they didn't want to compensate us for it, but, if it's, the president's coming, and it's here in an off election year, and it's here for flood damage, or, whatever they do, but when it's strictly a campaign issue, we have to provide the security, and we have to provide everything. There, said my piece.
We've had other candidates here before that over the, ever since I've been around here. There's never been any reimbursement or anything. The thought is they come to our city, The police department's responsible for their security, along with Secret Service, obviously, but we obviously have an interest in ensuring that he is safe and leaves our city without anything happening.
Definitely, we want that, Bill, I think.
Well, regardless of being Democrat or Republican, becoming president always holds that privilege. And we still have to hold that term, and cities bigger than us have asked for reimbursement already this campaign and have been denied millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So,
But it's a good point.
Just a point.
Yeah.
They did pay for the rental of their, the room.
Well, it's like-
there we go, we're in good
You said
shape.
$25.
One comment, John.
Take that extra check.
And you're not waiting for the check, okay.
Yeah, in regards to that day, and I spoke to the department heads, but I'll make a public statement on it. I was contacted, or I spoke to one of the Secret Service agents there, who was with a couple other ones, and they couldn't say enough good things about the department heads, that they were dealing with in regards to the cooperation and the coordination, that they did along with Secret Service and the various agencies that were out there. So kudos to them, and I agree, Fenner, it was a tremendous expense, I think we all know that, and I'm not happy about it, but on the other hand, it made me feel pretty good and pretty proud, when they come up and they tell you we're not used to getting cooperation like that and people working with you. So,
And that's
in fact,
that's the way we are around here.
they even went as far as to say, you know, that's the good Iowa Midwestern values, and, so congratulations again to you, department heads.